Good morning, Team Smith. How are you today? I'm doing good, and I am here today to give you a lesson on elapsed time. I know, it's kind of different. I'm here, you're there, and you're listening to me on a computer screen. But that's okay. We're still going to learn, we're still going to grow our brain, and we're going to be awesome, okay? So for this lesson, you're going to need two things, a piece of paper and a pencil. So when I say go, don't go yet. When I say go, go run and get any type of piece of paper and a pencil. Push pause on me and go get it. Ready, go. All right. So you should have your paper and your pencil. I hope you have that with you. And you will want to take some good notes today because on Friday, you're going to be given a little quiz. And so you're going to be allowed to use everything that you learned in this video and the whole week to use for your quiz on Friday. Okay? So, like I said, today we're going to talk about elapsed time. And before we do elapsed time, you're going to have to remember how to tell time, okay? So we have to remember about the little hand is the hour hand, the minute hand is the big hand, and there's 60 minutes in 1 hour, and the little hand inches its way to the next hour as the minute hand goes all the way around. And you could see in my GIF that I put on our first slide that this minute hand is going around, and by the time it gets around, the little hand, the hour hand, is getting to 1 o'clock because the time is changing. So this actually, the minute hand going around like that, is actually elapsed time. So moving on. So why should we learn about elapsed time? Well, we should learn about elapsed time because it's all about calculating. And we calculate things in our heads all the time with time. Maybe you don't, but as adults, we calculate time a lot. We calculate time so we're not late to things. When you guys want to go see the newest movie coming out, we calculate how much time is that going to take within our day so that we can arrange things before or after. I calculate how long I sleep because hours of sleep are so important to me. One of my favorite things to do is to calculate how long a driving trip is going to be. So if I left at this time and I'm supposed to get there in this time, how long was I in the car? Or it only takes an hour and a half to get from our house to Los Angeles. So what time will I have to leave in order to get to the place I need to get to on time? So, and then one other thing is that when you're at the baseball game, which Mrs. Smith is always at, I try and calculate if the game's supposed to start at this time, and if it usually goes about this long, what time will we be out? So, calculating time, people do it all the time. So this is why it is important for you guys to learn about elapsed time. All right, you guys ready? You got your paper, you got your pencil? All right, get your brains on, ready? Okay, so what is elapsed time? I'm gonna move my little guy up here. What is elapsed time? Well, it is the amount of time that elapses, which elapse is a big word. So elapse means passes. It's the amount of time that passes from the start of an activity to the end of an activity. So like I said, when I'm at that baseball game, I need to know when it starts and when or how long it's supposed to be, and then what time will it end. Or maybe I'm at a birthday party and I know the birthday party starts at 5 and it's going to end at 7. So how much time has passed in between there? That is elapsed time. I have a really good diagram to show you, is what I was talking about. So we have a start time, we have an end time, The elapsed time is everything in the middle. So this whole blue space is the elapsed time. And if you notice over here, I've created our start as green, our end as red, and our elapsed time, or the time that passes, in blue. Okay? So now remember, elapsed time is the amount of time that elapses or passes from the start of an activity to the end of an activity. Okay? So if you need to push pause and write this down, because this is very important information right here. What is elapsed time? So pause me. All right, so moving on. We're going to do a little practice. Okay? So, oh, let me move me. There we go. So if Mrs. Smith started her hike at this time, Mrs. Smith ended her hike at this time. The question is, how long was Mrs. Smith on her hike? What do we know, boys and girls? What do we know? Well, we know, oh, let me move me again. We know a start time and we know an end time. What we need to know is how much time that passes. So we need to know that elapsed time. Okay, does anyone know what time I started my hike? Say it out loud. Good. I did start my hike at 7 o'clock. As you can see, the hour hand is pointing to the 7 and the minute hand is right on the 12, which means o'clock, the start of a new hour on the 12, okay? So 7 o'clock, I started my hike. What time did I end my hike? Let's look at this clock right here. What time did I end my hike? My hour hand is pointing in between the 11 and 12, and my minute hand is pointing right at the 4. So I'm going to have to count by my fives. Ready? 5, 10, 15, 20. Yep, 11:20 I ended my hike. So the question is, how long was Mrs. Smith on her hike? Well, that's what we're trying to calculate, how long I was on my hike. And how am I going to do that? How am I going to calculate this? Did anyone say use a number line? Well, you should have, because that's how we're going to do it. All right, so let's use a number line. My favorite thing to do. The reason why we're using a number line is because we do this all the time. We count up all the time, and that's what's easy for a lot of us. So I'm going to show you how to use a number line to calculate the elapsed time, okay? So first, we have our number line. We know I started my hike at 7, and we know I finished my hike at 11:20. So how do I figure out how much time is in between the start and the end? Well, here's where my counting comes in. Okay, you guys ready? Let me move me again. I count 1 hour. That gets me to 8 o'clock. Count up another hour. That gets me to what? 9 o'clock. Another hour gets me to 10 o'clock. Another hour gets me to 11 o'clock. Ooh, I'm getting close. Look at this. I'm at 11 and I need to get to 11:20. Should I count another hour? No, I need to start counting by minutes now. So you could count by ones, you could count by tens, you could count by fives, whatever kind of minute, however you want to count your minutes, you could totally count your minutes. For me, I'm going to count by fives today, okay? So I'm going to start counting by fives. So I'm going to count 5 minutes, that's 11:05. Another 5 minutes, that's 11:10. I'm getting closer. Another 5 minutes, that's 11:15. And then my last minute to get to what? 11:20. So I did it. I counted from 7 to 11:20. So now I just need to figure out how much time this is. how much time has passed? How much time has elapsed? And here's where I get 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 hours. And 5, 10, 15, 20. So how long was Mrs. Smith on her hike? If I started at 7 and I ended at 11:20, Mrs. Smith was on her hike for 4 hours and 20 minutes. So see how using a number line and counting up from the start to the finish gets that whole time that has passed in there. Good? If you have any questions, write down your questions right now on your piece of paper so that when you see me next, or you can go in Google Classroom and type in your question and I can answer that for you, okay? So if you need to push pause, this is a good time to push pause, write your question down, and come back. All right, moving on. So let's practice this one together again. Cadence's birthday is coming up tomorrow, so make sure tomorrow we wish her happy birthday. But I wrote this question just for you, Cadence. Okay, so the birthday party for Cadence lasted from 5:15 to 6:52 p.m. How long did the party last? Well, what do you know? What do we know? And let's remember this little diagram I showed you, the start time, the end time, and how much time passes in between, okay? So we know that Cadence's birthday party started at 5:15, right? So we're gonna put that in the start time. We also know that Cadence's party stopped at 6:52. So we're gonna put that in the end time. What do we need to still know? Well, we still need to know how much time has passed in between them. So how are we going to figure that out? We're going to figure that out by using a number line. So please push pause right now. Try and use your number line and see if you guys can get the right answer. All right, so let's see. Who thinks they have an answer right now? Anybody? Anybody? All right, let's see if we got the answer. So how long did the party last? Oh, let me move me so you can see. Cadence's party lasted 1 hour and 37 minutes. Great job. Now, if you didn't get the right answer, that's okay. Why don't you push pause right now and go back and see what went wrong? And if you still don't know what went wrong, write a question, say, you know, Mrs. Smith, on Cadence's birthday question, I didn't get it right, and maybe ask me a question when you see me next or on Google Classroom, okay? All right, let's try another one together. This one's easy, parcheesi, so I know that you guys are gonna get this one right. So, Mom put a cake in the oven at 4 p.m. The cake should bake for 45 minutes. When should Mom take it out? Well, what do you know? Let's remember our cool diagram. And if you need to write this down on your piece of paper, go right ahead. All right, so we know that Mom put the cake in the oven at 4 p.m. What else do we know? Oh, we put it in our box. We also know that the cake should bake for 45 minutes. As you can see, I put it in blue here because this time with this question, we know the start time and we already know the elapsed time. We already know that area. So we are going to already know this and we're going to calculate that and count that up. See how I put the 45 minutes there? So what time should Mom take out the cake? We need to know that. That's right there. And you're right, 4:45 is when Mom should take out the cake. If you have any questions, jot them down so that you could ask me on Google Classroom or the next time you see me, okay? All right, let's try some on your own. Are you guys ready for this? Ooh, and I made number 3 a challenge, so all my above and beyonders, make sure you try it, okay? The first question. Oh, before we start the questions, Remember, use the what do you know, use what do you need to know, and use this really cool diagram to help you. And don't forget to use your number line, okay? First question, how much time has elapsed from 2:05 to 2:50? I want to see your work. So that piece of paper that you got earlier, this is what it's there for. So put number 1 and start showing me your work. What do you know? What do you need to know? You should be writing this down. All right, push pause on me, figure out the answer, and then come back and see if you got it right. All right, so 45 minutes has elapsed. If you got that right, good job. All right, moving on to number 2. School ends at 2:15, and it takes David 25 minutes to walk home from school. What time will David get home? Don't forget, use your what do you know, what do you need to know, and your diagram. Push pause. All right. David got home at 2:40. You got that one right. Good job. Give yourself a pat on the back. All right, here's my challenge for all you guys. Rory and Kiana went swimming. Oh, let me move them. For 50 minutes. If they stopped swimming at 3 o'clock, what time did they start swimming at? Now, let me give you a hint. What do you know? We know the end time, and we know they went swimming for 50 minutes. So you might have to count. All right, push pause. Let me see if you guys get it right. All right, let's see if you're right. The girls started swimming at 2:10. Good job, those of you who got it. All right, so elapsed time. If you have any questions, write your questions down and be sure to ask me on Google Classroom or the next time we meet in Zoom. All right, good job, guys, today. Don't forget to keep your paper safe because you might need it on Friday. See you guys later.